Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Joy. For those who do know me, welcome back. I know it's been a while since I've been back on here, but I have been moving, and now that we've got a couch that I can finally sit on and film, I will try to be a little bit more consistent than I have been in the past. So thank you guys for your patience. But today I just thought I'd get on here and just chat to you guys about things that I've learned this year. Obviously 2024 was filled with so many blessings, so I think it's important to also highlight the good things that did happen this year. But I think I took a lot of lessons about myself, about relationships, just so much. So before we get into the video, guys, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And I just want to say thank you to everyone, because I am now in the YouTube partnered program. So thank you, Jesus, and thank you guys. So I will definitely try to be a little bit more consistent to give you guys something to watch. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so I feel like one thing that 2024 has taught me, like guys, I learned so much this year, but the first thing that I learned was that you have a choice to take offense in any circumstance. Because I feel like one thing that I've been really craving is just peace. But I feel like as long as you're here on earth, good luck. You know what I mean? So I feel like learning how to navigate through hardship and things like that, because you can't avoid it. It's literally inevitable. It's bound to happen. In fact, so instead you have to ask God for the right tools on how to navigate the hardships, the hard times, etc. So one thing that I did learn was that yes, people can offend you, and yes, they will. It's not going to stop. Even we offend people. I offend people. But I think now that I just learned that you have the choice and you have the power to choose not to take offense to those things, I said, wow. Can you believe? Because every time if somebody does something that affects you, you have the choice to let it affect you. Like literally nobody has power over you. So learning that, for me, it looks like, whereas before, right? Before I adapted this mindset, if I was faced with something, I did take things personal. And I feel like that's another lesson in itself, which is like not taking things personally. And I feel like that's one of those things that it's like, it's easier said than done, right? Like, how can I not take things personally? Especially, I'm a very empathetic person. I feel things, I feel like, on another level compared to other people. So it's a blessing and a curse at once, because the good things, it's great. I can feel your good emotions on your behalf. However, when it comes to the sad parts or the other things, I also tend to feel that on a more extreme. So now that I'm learning that, hey, you don't have to take offense, I said, wow. So now that I've learned this, I think walking into 2025, I'm learning that you don't have to take everything personal, and you don't have to take offense to everything that somebody does. Like, it's actually okay to detach from certain things and be like, oh, okay. And guys, this is literally not as easy as I'm explaining it to be, but it's a good lesson to learn, because I feel like I didn't have the option to not take offense, because I didn't know that you could choose. And you know who I learned that from? Joyce Meyer. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I literally was just driving, and then I heard it on the radio, and she said, you have the choice not to take offense when people offend you. So that is lesson number one, guys. Always remember that you can choose to not take offense. And then I was having a conversation with a friend, and they literally were like, what is anger, right? Anger is all of the things that you haven't accepted. Literally. I was like, wow. So learning to accept things, especially the bad, like when you accept a situation, you actually don't have a reason to be that angry about it. Because now that I don't know, it just made me reflect, and I was like, damn, everything that I am frustrated about, it's because I haven't accepted that, yeah, this is your reality. But once you accept things, they're not gonna have that much of an impact on you, right? Because it's like, you've accepted it. Yeah, it is what it is. Like, that type of mentality can save you sometimes. It's like, okay, yeah, it is what it is. Keep it pushing. Because all of these things I'm learning, I think they're helping me to grow into somebody who will be more at peace in tough times. Do you know what I mean? So learning to not take things very personal, and accept things. Just accept it as soon as you can, because once you accept things, you then start to kind of think logically. Because I feel like beforehand, I'm such an emotional person, but I don't think we should always disregard our emotions because we're trying to rush to the logic of like solving the issue. Sometimes it's okay to just sit there and be like, okay, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? All right, how can we fix this? You know what I mean? That's another lesson in itself. I feel like lately I've just been encountering, like, I'm learning that there's two different types of mindsets with people: emotion and logic, right? But I feel like sometimes those two things you can try to make them coexist, guys. I don't like people who just want to stick on one side and they're not open to the idea of either side. Like, I am both an emotional person and a logical thinker. However, I don't jump to the emotion and sorry, I don't jump to the logic and disregard one's emotions. I feel like it's important that we acknowledge them, right? Because they're important. Emotions are normal and very important. So even for yourself, it's okay to kind of be like, okay, how am I feeling? Check in with yourself and think, okay, right. Now the issue happens when we want to stay in that emotional state. That's when it can become detrimental to your like health and your time. Like, you just need to keep it pushing. But I think when you skip it, that's when it builds up resentment and just things always build up. And I don't like it's a lot easier to tackle things one by one rather than just dismissing your emotions and then it all builds up and one day you just explode. So I feel like if you consider yourself a logical thinker, it's important for you to acknowledge one's emotions. And if you are just an emotion based person, apply some logic as well. It's gonna help you. So yeah, I just feel like we shouldn't just have one. It's good to have two. They can coexist. You can have them. But yeah, it's just about a matter of learning how to navigate the two and just being conscious, yeah, and being aware of other people and also learning other people like conflict resolution styles, right? That's another thing. Even with friendships, guys, people handle things so differently, and that's why I'm teaching guys not to take, even myself, by the way, not to take things on a very personal level, because sometimes you just have two different ways of solving things. Another thing that I've learned this year is that people can only meet you as far as they've met themselves. You can't expect somebody who only meets themselves on a surface level to meet you on a deep level when they've never been there with themselves. So obviously I'm aware that we all have blind spots, and if you don't, well, hello. You do. Everyone does. There are things that other people can see about ourselves that we haven't seen yet. So that's already another lesson in itself, which I feel like some people, especially me as somebody who is very emotionally in tune, I had to accept that I also carry some blind spots, and there are some. That's why it's always good to be open-minded and be open to what people have to say about you. Obviously it depends. Context is always important because some people may be projecting. So again, when you have that emotional intelligence, you can differentiate or you can discern. For those who are more spiritual and like, you can discern where that person's opinion of you is coming from, whether it's a reflection of them if they're projecting, or truly it's something that you haven't quite picked up about yourself. But yeah, so I think I've learned that I also have a blind spot. We all have blind spots, and by that it just means that you shouldn't be too proud, right, to know that, listen, I know myself. No one can tell me anything. But it's like, no, sometimes your family members, it could be your friends, it could be your partner. Some people definitely can kind of see things through a different lens. Obviously we're all different people with different experiences. So I think the reason why I'm actually open, especially to hearing from people that I trust and know that they have the best interest at heart, like my mom, my sisters, my family, usually my husband, it's important to kind of ask and think, okay, is there something that I may not recognize in myself that you do that you think isn't good? And if it's something, and also when you ask that question, be prepared to receive something that you might even have recognized about yourself, but you don't think that there's an issue with it. But then it's like always being willing to change, always being willing to adapt and develop, right? Because those are my favorite type of people, guys. I love people who are always like self-reflecting, because there's always something new literally, this is just one of those things where, like, as long as you're alive, there's just lessons to be learned every single day, especially because learning that you too, the way people make you feel, you also make them feel like that. You also have the capacity to make people feel sad, angry, happy, like all the emotions. That's why it's important to ask the people that you truly do care about, like, hey, is there something that I do that you have noticed? And you know what's crazy? I did ask my little sister and she told me, and I was like, wait, you're actually right. But then I also explained that, listen, when I did this, this is why. So I think providing that extra bit of information can help them understand. Because, oh, guys, another thing, let me just pause that for a second. Another thing that I've learned, if there is, like, I don't want to say a conflict or a misunderstanding or anything towards another person, right? And they haven't verbalized something, but you're telling yourself something on their behalf. That is just assumed thoughts, right? So I'm learning. I saw this exercise and it was like, when you're having conflict with somebody, right? And you know how your brain sits there and you're kind of arguing with yourself, but like with them in your mind, always remind yourself that that's what you're telling yourself. It's not really what they said, even if you think it's accurate. For somebody who's very emotionally aware, even if you think, yeah, I can read the room and know that this is what they mean, until they have verbally said that with their words, those are your thoughts. And you should keep them captive. Hold them and be like, no. And if you want to really hear from them, reach out to them and tell them, hey, this is what I'm telling myself. Is this true? And they might be like, no, actually. For example, I was giving like just a little minor example. For example, um, let's say my little sister's always late to come. Let's just say this is an example. If she's always late, and then I'm now taking it personal, and I'm like, listen, like, are you late because you don't want me to come with you? Like, I'm telling myself that you come late because you don't, or I'm telling myself that you're embarrassed of me. I'm telling myself, like, literally verbalize that these are your thoughts. So that way you don't have built up random animosity towards somebody who hasn't even said anything. And then you bring it up to them. Like, I feel like as adults, it's important to present. If you have an issue with somebody, present it to them. And then tell them what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and be like, listen, this is the way I've observed the situation, and this is what I'm telling myself. And then they might either be like, you know what? Yeah, that is exactly what I was thinking, and that is why I did XYZ. Or they might be like, no, you're completely wrong. There was no malicious intent. Like, I was just doing this because of this. And always be open to listen to new perspective, guys. Because I have learned that in this life, everything is just about perspective. Like, I believe that you could be sad about a situation, but then you look at it through a different lens and you can be happy even if it's the same situation, the same exact situation, but looking at it from a different angle. So I'm learning to always be open to new perspectives. And also, have you noticed that, like, when two people are having a misunderstanding, if you listen to both of the stories, it makes sense. So I do believe that two truths can be true at once. It's all about perspective. So in life, everything is about perspective. Like, even when you look at a situation, even if it's a situation that doesn't seem pleasing at the moment, but if you even ask God to be like, Lord, open my eyes to see this the way you see the situation, or like, how can I find something good in this? Because I feel like there's always a good in everything. I don't know. I'm trying to be a little bit more hopeful, guys. But I definitely love perspective. I love the idea of perspective, guys. Like, we could both be looking at the same thing, but you could choose something negative, I could choose something positive, and we're both having different emotions attached to the same item because we've chose to look at it through a different lens. So, what does that mean? That means in this life, when you have a way of thinking towards something or someone, don't think that all of that is just true or that's all that it is with that person or with that thing. Always leave room for a new perspective or a new understanding or like just a new way of thinking. Like, I don't know, this is helping me. And even about yourself as well, like, because sometimes we can be our biggest critiques, so always leave room for something positive. I don't know, but yeah. And what I would like for next year personally, I want to find, so do you know how, like, with like us humans, like, when we have like a holiday or something nice to look forward to, it's almost like every day between now and when that thing happens is just blank and it's just plain. Because I really want to know, it's like, how can we find happiness in the most mundane things, in the little things, in the boring things, so that I'm not just placing all my happiness on one day when I have a holiday, on that one day when I have lunch with my friends, or that one day. So that's what I've learned in 2024, and that's exactly what I'm going to take in 2025. Like, because I genuinely believe that there's a way that we could be happy every day. I think so, because the way I get so excited, like recently I went to a friend's lunch, went out for high tea, and I was just looking forward to that day for a whole month, guys. Especially me, now that I'm a mom and I don't go like out as much, especially without the baby. I was just like looking forward to that day, which is a great thing. But I also want to look forward to like just waking up, just being able to do the most. I don't know. Again, remember perspective, guys. Perspective has power, and we don't know that. Like, I could literally just, is it romanticize my life, my everyday life, and just be like, you know what? Oh, I'm so excited to just wake up, clean my house, my space, wash the dishes. Because guys, as much as washing dishes is like a big chore, sometimes I actually do enjoy washing the dishes. Like, now that my child is not here and no one's home and I'm just by myself, and you listen to music, or I usually watch my shows, it's not the worst thing, you know. And cooking, so everything that is deemed as like boring or like a chore and it's hard, you can romanticize that. So what I'm learning is to romanticize the little things, because I just, like, I don't know, like next year, like I'm just thinking like, why should I just be happy when I have, like, let's say if I'm going on a vacation, what day is that? Like a Tuesday. Why can't I romanticize every other Tuesday? Like, find happiness in the little things. That's one thing that I would advise people to do. Because so what if I don't have anything coming up, and then what? I'm gonna be miserable? I shouldn't, and neither should you. I feel like there's always, find joy in the little things. I think what I would definitely like to do more is also move my body. Like, I would love to go to the gym. Like, my husband goes to the gym a lot, and obviously now that we have a child, like with time management, it's a lot harder. But it's not impossible, guys. It's not impossible. But I want to, I don't know, maybe find a hobby as well. I feel like being a mom, it has kind of taken over my whole identity. And being so young, I'm just like, no, I shouldn't let this consume my whole entire life, because this is a never-ending job. I don't even want to say job, but it's a never-ending role. I'm a mom literally forever, for as long as my child is here. So knowing that that's going to be here forever, and it's not like I can play basketball forever, or I can play volleyball or tennis forever, why not do that now? So one thing I'm learning, especially for next year, that I will be implementing, is finding a hobby. Because guys, let me tell you something, when my child, like when I have free time without the baby, I literally go to get my nails done, and now they're done, I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, genuinely, what am I gonna do with this time? So that's why I'm just like, okay, I want to find a hobby, something that requires me to step away with the baby, like away from the baby, and just be like, okay, this is joy. I don't know if I want to try Pilates. I love tennis. I love the idea of tennis. Or even like, I was low-key, I played basketball because my husband plays basketball, so I played and I actually loved it, and I did well for somebody who isn't a professional basketballer. Like, I did well. Like, I'm that person that I can easily learn, especially when it comes to sports. Just put me there, tell me what to do, and watch me go. But I'm definitely like, now I'm just like, okay, yeah, I want to find something outside of being just a mom, because that's not all that comes with me. And there was a point where I wasn't a mom, so it's like, who was I before then? And I just feel like I'm too young to just be consumed by this alone. So for 2025, guys, I have to find a hobby. I hope you guys find a hobby, because I noticed that when I move, like, I've started watching like videos, like workout videos, and I'm like, since I can't go to the gym, let me see what I can do at home. So I'm starting slowly to do, and it just feels so good. Or even going on a walk. Like the other day I went on a 30-minute walk and I felt so good. I felt so free. I felt so good. So we know that health is wealth. So I just need to remember that, and I need to do something active. Like, I used to love to dance. I might join a dance class. And I feel like, hopefully, this is advice that I would also give to people out there. Do something fun for yourself, especially for mothers. Take a little break. Guys, one thing about me, I'm sorry, but I like to rest. I like to rest. I don't like to stress myself too much. So I feel like finding a hobby, even if it's like 2 days a week, but even if it's 2 hours to myself, and also doing something good for my body, because I feel like being so young, right? Like I feel like being a parent, it ages you or it matures you, but I have to remember my age, and I have to remember that, listen, you're still young and fit, and this is the best time to do sports and to do things that are gonna help you in the long run. Because if I don't move now, I'm gonna regret it later. But I just want to be I just want to do something outside of just being a mom. So that is definitely what I'm gonna do. Now it's just a matter of finding, okay, what do you want to do? I could even do two things, who knows. But definitely what brings me like happiness, like I genuinely enjoy dancing, guys. You guys don't understand that. I've been waiting to buy a speaker, like, because we just moved. I'm gonna buy a nice speaker and I'm just gonna be dancing. It helps me a lot. Like, it just makes me happy, you know, when I move. Like, moving your body literally adds happiness somehow. When you go to the, for people who go to the gym, they can explain this. It's so good for your mental health as well. And that's another thing I'm gonna teach you guys, or something that I'd like to advise you guys on, is definitely prioritizing your mental health. Like, guys, there's nothing, I feel like when you get older, there's nothing I crave more than just a peace of mind and just peace and calmness. But sometimes that calmness turns into boredom. Because I saw this thing and it was like, what if the boredom, like if you're bored, what if that's the peace that you were requesting all this time? And then you just want to, you know what I mean? So I think ways that I would recommend to improve your mental health, like I said, on the physical aspect, is moving your body. Literally get out there. It doesn't matter how old you are. Get out there and move. I'm speaking to myself, by the way. I'm speaking to myself. Everything I'm teaching you guys, it's what I'm learning. Like that, hence the title of the video. This is what I'm learning for myself. And I'm just, I don't know, I've just been really deep in how much like I should be moving a lot more. Like a lot, especially at this age. When am I ever gonna find, you know, this energy again? You know what I mean? And if I do it now, it's definitely gonna benefit me in the future, and you as well. And don't ever think that you're too old to do anything. I'm telling you, even if you're 30, okay, 30 is young, but 40, 50, 60, 70, 100, if you can, get up and go and walk or dance or do something that makes you happy. And for the moms, I definitely feel for you guys. So your being a mom doesn't have to consume your whole identity. Like, I don't know if that sounds selfish, but being a mom is one thing, one percentage of your life, but it shouldn't be like 100%. It's not just who you are. There's more to you, and you deserve to go and do something outside of being a mom, because it's going to benefit you. Definitely would recommend like going on walks if you don't want to go to the gym. And one thing about me, like when I did go to the gym, this was like, what, a year or two ago, this was when I was still in the old mentality of like, I wouldn't say like caring what people think, but at the same time it was caring what people thought, because I was just so scared to go to the gym, because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. I don't know what I'm doing. Everyone's gonna laugh at me, blah, blah, blah. And I remember when I used to go to the gym, I used to always call my friend just to walk in, because I felt so anxious, and I would just like talk to her on the treadmill. I wouldn't do anything apart from the treadmill. And then it's so crazy, because over time, I used to call her every single time. And then one day I didn't call her. I didn't need to call her. And that felt like a big achievement. And then all along I realized that, listen, no one cares. And even if they do, that's on them. You know what I mean? As long as it doesn't affect you, like it's okay. But if you want to start the gym, or if you want to start a new sport, like I feel like with people, right, we have the fear of being seen. That literally, that's what it is. And once I overcame my fear of being seen, or fear of trying, sorry, not even fear of being seen, it's fear of being seen trying. Once I overcame that aspect of my life, that's why I'm able to show up here. Like I'm sure if you asked me to do this in high school, I would have been like, no, I'm not gonna get on camera, post my video for the world to see. When I have to see people at school, it's embarrassing. I don't want to do this. And now I'm like, why didn't I start earlier? You know what I mean? But you know, it's never too late. It's better earlier than never. So if you have the fear of being seen trying, how will you ever get to anything that you want? Because the way I literally was like, damn, is there a way that I can just wake up and have 1 million subscribers? Is there a way that I can just wake up and avoid the embarrassment of being seen trying and just post when I have 1 million followers? That's never gonna happen. You'll never get to the 1 million followers if you don't post every single day with your 1, 2, 3 subscribers, followers, etc. So when I had to kind of sit down with myself, and I'm like, wait, why do you care? Genuinely. Genuinely, you have to ask yourself, like, you have to get to the root cause of everything, and that's the key to like being the best version of yourself. Because a lot of people can only like see themselves on a surface level, but you have to dig deeper and be like, where is this stemming from? Is there anything to do with childhood? Is there anything to do with this? Like, what are you embarrassed about? So once I did all of that work, I realized, damn, what I desire for myself is more than how much I care about what people think. So you better work, you better show up. So yeah, and is it to say that maybe, guys, I don't know what it is, but like the mentality that I had in high school, I'm like, who was that person? Because now I could not care less. Like I love showing up. Like in fact, there's more positive. I don't even think about the negatives. I'm like, I don't know if anyone's sitting here from school and thinking, oh my gosh, she's on YouTube. But then so what? Yes, I am. Hello. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So I just hope that by me showing up, it can help other people. Even if you have like anything you want to start and you're like, oh, I would love to play this sport, but I don't know how to play. Well, how will you ever learn if you don't go and trial and error and fail? Like, listen, and I'm telling you, because even me too, like for me, it was more social media. Like I literally used to kind of like fixate on like the numbers, and if a video didn't do as well as I wanted to do, what I wanted it to do, I wanted to like delete the video. It's silly, but now like when I stopped, I physically, guys, you see me, yeah, if I like the content that I've produced, it doesn't matter if it gets one view or one subscriber, it doesn't matter. The point is I'm doing what I love and I'm showing up. So I think again, perspective, shifting your perspective and being like, okay, rather than focusing, because listen, like my fear of being seen trying was there. I'd be lying to you if I said that never existed within me. It did, but I had to quickly shut it down if I wanted to get to where I want to get, because I know the goals that I have, I know where I want to be, and I'm not going to get there if I don't do this now. You know what I mean? If I don't do this now. And one thing I had to also like ask God for was a heart of gratitude. You have to be thankful with the one, and literally if I can't manage the few that I have, how will I manage many that are gonna come? So I'm genuinely grateful for where I am now, and I'm so grateful for every single subscriber, guys. People like, even to this day, I'm just like shocked. I'm so content with, I can't believe like these many people like already watch me. Like for me, that's enough. Whereas the old me would have been like, oh, but I need this, but I need this, I need this to feel like I can show my YouTube to people. But now, no, I show it to everybody. It's fine. It's gonna get there in due time. But it's all about you showing up now. Because yeah, honestly, I've even, if you read the book Atomic Habits, like we were talking about how people just want to get to the, like, you see the people at the Olympics, for example, like we just see that and we think, oh, that person's so lucky. But guys, you guys don't understand the amount of trial and error that occurred every single day, or maybe the amount of hard work that they went through to get to that day. But with people, we just love to show off that one big day, but little do you know. And one thing about it, when people reach that milestone, like let's say if you've been training for years to get to the Olympics, for example, when they get there, you know that they ask themselves, oh, this is it? Imagine like something that they worked so hard for, they get there. And that's with us in everything. Like let's say for me, for example, let's say when I wanted to get my license, guys, I literally cried when I wanted to get my driver's license. I was like, Lord, like when you give me this license, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do XYZ, I'm gonna feel like this and da-da-da. But then I was like, when I got it, now there's a point where I'm just like, oh, I'm not even bothered to drive. But when I was wanting the license, I was like, I'm gonna drive everywhere, I'm gonna do this. But that's why right now I'm just like, I need to focus on the little things. Focus on those driving lessons. Find joy in that. Find happiness in that. So if you have, okay, if your main focus is the end goal, right? And then you disregard every step of the way, that's why you reach it. And then you're like, oh, this is it. But if you find a way to find joy in every single step of the way, all of that is going to accumulate, and then you're going to have a lot of it, so that when you finally get to your 1,000,000 subscribers, or you get to score that goal and your team wins, or you get there, you'll be like, it just feels more fulfilling, because it's like, oh, this is a continuous, oh guys, I'm getting so passionate about this, but that's what I'm learning. Like it's a continuous like feeling of joy, like all of that accumulated. It's far better than you disregarding everything and be like, oh, I just want to get to the end. You get to the end and you realize, oh, turns out there was more that I could have benefited from those other days, waking up early, those sacrifices, all of that. Find joy in that. Like make that exciting for yourself. Romanticize that part and watch how you feel when you reach the end. because it won't feel like the end. It won't feel like you started and then you finish. It will feel like, oh my goodness, like I've been waiting for this day, but also appreciating the days in between. So that's something I'll teach you, because I had to learn that with like my child as well. I felt like when she was born, I was always eager to get to the next step of the milestone, because obviously, you know, they're always like every single month it's something new. And I was like, oh, when she gets to 6 months, or when she gets her first teeth, or when she can stand, when she can walk, da 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 da. And then I literally had to stop myself so fast, because I'm like, listen, you are missing out on what's happening in front of you right now, because you're so quick to just jump onto the next thing with that. And one thing that you're going to hear when you have a child, a lot of people, strangers, they're like, listen, enjoy it now, it goes so fast. So I had to literally like think about that and dwell on it and remember that, listen, be in the moment, like learn to be present with everything. It could be like you're waiting for the final, the grand final, but like those Tuesday practices, find joy in that. So that's what I'm learning. Like even now, I just learned to kind of be in the moment, even with watching my child grow. Like, guys, she's doing so much, but I need to stop waiting for the next step. Like as soon as she arrives, this is the thing about us human beings. Like we're so, like we don't have a content heart. Like, is it contentful? I don't even know, but we're not content. So like, I remember before, let me use my license. I was like, oh, I can't wait to get a license. Like I need it, sorry. I was like, I need a driver's license. You get the license. Immediately, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get a car. What are the things I'll do with the car? You get the car, next minute, you want a better version of the car that you already have. Like, guys, this mindset is not going to take us anywhere. And I think that's why when you look at like third world countries, if you actually look at the statistics, like in terms of like happiness, they are a lot happier even though they have less. But I think because obviously I've experienced living in both worlds, let's just say, and I was so much happier back then, because I feel like now when you can access a lot more things, you want more. Like the more you can get, the more you desire. But back then it was just so fulfilling, because if you got that one thing that you've been waiting for, you just dwell in that a little bit longer, because you knew how hard it was to just achieve that one thing. But here, especially because of social media as well, we're just convinced that we can do anything. And that's not a bad thing. It's definitely a good thing that we think we can do everything. But then we also crave a lot more. Whereas if social media didn't exist, I feel like we wouldn't be pressured to desire the things. Like, let's talk about aesthetics, for example, just for a few seconds. I always think about like all the celebrations. Like right now, we have to be honest, like we do a lot of things because the whole world is gonna see it. You know what I mean? Like there are certain things, like if you were having a birthday and there's no cameras involved, I don't think you would be spending that much money towards something that you know that no one else is gonna see except for the people who are there. In comparison to thinking, oh, when I post this, I can't wait to show this. So it's like with Instagram, it has its own standard, and you feel like, oh, I can't start creating content because I don't have an aesthetically pleasing house. I can't start doing this because I don't have this, right? But I feel like if social media didn't exist, how would you even know that that is the standard? You know what I mean? Like you'd just be doing the regular, you'd be more content with less. I think so. But it's not to say that it's good to just want less. No, I believe we should always strive for the best. I think the world is literally your oyster. You can do whatever you put your mind onto, but just make sure that when you do things, it's because you want to do it, not because it's because society says so, or like it's, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like there are people who are sitting there probably thinking, oh, I can't start doing my content because I don't have the camera. That was my mindset as well. Like I literally felt like, because now cameras are trending. Like now everybody has a camera. They're spending 1K, how much money on a camera, right? Whereas we used to just take photos with our iPhones. But now on Instagram, you're gonna see at least, like everyone's using their Canon GX7 or things like that. I don't even know, but you understand. So I just don't want people to feel like, or even myself as well, like don't ever feel like you have to, or like when I get to that next step, I'm gonna do this. No, no, no. Put that in now. Invest in that now. And if you want to start content and or just anything, I saw this thing, it said just start and you can make it look pretty later. But if you have ideas, bring them to life, and you can like innovation like that can start later, you know. Anyway, but yeah, like I'm just like learning so much about life and myself as well, like, but also like things that I kind of would love to achieve for the next year, for 2025. Oh, but yeah, like those are just some of the lessons that I've learned. But definitely reading your word. Like I have been reading my word a little bit more, and that is obviously going to help you. Also, I'm learning that I saw this. So for 2025, I'm gonna create is it a mood board? But I saw this thing that is like you should do a bingo, 2025 bingo. So like everything you want to achieve for 2025, set like a bingo and be like, and just cross off the things that you've achieved. So I think next year I would love to be a little bit more emotional, intentional. I'm already the most emotional person. I want to be more intentional, sorry. But one thing that I will say though about 2025, this is why New Year's resolutions, like sometimes I think it can be not a waste of time. Okay, in terms of, okay, I would like to achieve XYZ, that's great and that's very good. But I've learned that in this life, there's no such thing as I'll do this when I'm here. So for example, people think that, I don't know what example I can use. Like nothing changes just because your title changed. Like if you think that, oh yeah, in 2025 I'm gonna go to the gym, and you've never gone to the gym in your life, yes, you might go the first 7 days. I think we've seen that the gym, they get really busy at the beginning of the year, and then what happens is the people who truly have been, you know, maintaining that and that discipline, that stay there. But I know for sure the people who sign up in the beginning of January and the people that we see in December, it's not the same numbers. So what I'm trying to get here is, if you think that something is going to change because we enter 2025, you're lying to yourself. If there is something you want to achieve by 2025, my advice would be for you to start now. If you want to achieve something, you have to do it now. Literally, that's the only way that you can guarantee yourself. So for example, if I was to say that, oh yeah, when I have a baby, I'm gonna eat healthy, the only way that I can actually believe that is if I start now, and I'm able to maintain that, and I'm able to do it, and it's possible and it's happening now, then I can be like, yeah, I'm gonna maintain this, I'm gonna sustain it until this stage, right? If there's something that you want to work on but you think, yeah, I'll deal with it when I get married, or I'll deal with it when I get this, that's not how life works. In fact, you're just delaying the time that you could have been using. Like utilize that time between now and when you want to achieve that thing to start working on it, so that by then you can at least be sure that, yeah, I'll be a lot further than I am right now. But that's just like one of the lessons that I've learned, and I'm so guilty of it too, guys. That is literally applicable to anything in this life. Don't ever think that you'll achieve something when you reach the next stage if you're doing nothing to get there by today. I don't know, it's just so funny because I was just like, girl. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so glad that we could sit here and just talk. I really did miss you guys, so I'll definitely see you guys next time. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share your thoughts if there's any valuable lessons that you've learned this year, because like I said, I'm always looking for ways to improve. If there's something new that I can learn, like a new mindset or a new anything that can help me and benefit me for my future, why not? You know what I mean? So if you guys have anything along the lines of things that I've mentioned, or just anything, feel free to share it. Share your lessons for the year. I'd love to hear them. I read literally everything. So thank you guys, and I just want to say thank you guys to every single person who subscribed. By the way, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and it just does give me the motivation that I need to keep going. When you guys do subscribe and you engage, that means a lot. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.